Okay.
It's another South African show, and today we're going to be discussing disciplinary issues in MK Party. Basically, John Flope's disciplinary action reflects a firm stance on party discipline. Jacob Zuma's daughter seems to uh, be disrupting the party, communicating in a very impolite and saucy way to party members. And also, some other party members are in solidarity with her, have been disciplined by John Hope. And we need to discuss that is Mustafa Jinodu, Said, and Warifa Marcos. You guys are welcome to the show.
Nice haircut,
Yeah, thank
Afalabi. You look like the Don.
Charles Barkley, Philadelphia 76ers.
That's back. Ocon, Ocon. Okay, let's get started. So apparently, it looks like Zuma has no control over that party. He's an old, he's an old man. So Zuma's an old man, and it seems like his daughter and her friend, who's the other one?
Indela,
Indela.
Indela, Indela. Yeah.
Indela. It seems like Zuma's daughter, Sambudla and Indela, are trying to control that party, and they're causing trouble. They tried to scheme and get Hopefully put out, and also Makubele. They said Makubele is pro-Israel, which if she is, I'm against that. But they started behind Zuma's back to say that of their letters that they have to get rid of Tlope and the other one. What's her name again? Makubele.
Duduzile. Duduzile.
Makubele. But Zuma is having none of it, and I believe that the reason he's having none of it is because even though it's his party, he has a lot of people in the council from that party and the MPs that he also has to answer to. He can't just make unilateral decisions. So, but I think his daughter thinks that because she's his father, he's her father, she can do whatever she wants. She had troubles with Shivambu. She didn't like Shivambu. She insulted him publicly on Twitter, and she had to apologize to her father. So it's clear that I give Zuma credit for this just because it's his daughter. He can't just say, "Oh, you're my daughter. You can do whatever you want." She needs to just be happy that she's in the party. I know she wants money. That's what she really wants. She wants to control the money in that party. I'm sure of it. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, basically, she's had a history of being very recalcitrant and disruptive. There have been reports of her walking out of meetings, making dismissive remarks, refusing to adhere to procedural decorum. Now, if the party is to stay strong, the leaders in the party are not going to allow this, especially when she's the daughter of Jacob Zuma. So they're clamping down on this to see how Jacob Zuma himself would react. Because
Yeah,
that lady has been like that ever since. She's had a history of this disruptive
hmm
behavior. And she's
hmm
been very indisciplined. In fact, I heard that in July 2021, there was some kind of unrest that she helped in inciting. So basically, they're trying to put her in check to ensure that, because the elections are just around the corner, to ensure that MK Party is seen as a disciplined party that can put his house in order. And there's been allegations that Jacob Zuma too has been given juicy positions to his girlfriends and family members. So, so, so
yeah,
Jacob Zuma himself has to distance himself from this kind of allegation. And charity begins at home. He has to call his daughter to order, basically. That's what I
yeah.
feel.
And he's gonna go to, and also, his daughter. She left her husband's house, so she's married to the
Yes,
king of
I
Swat.
had
So
that as well.
some ruler in Swaziland. So maybe that's the problem. A woman scorned. She needs to go and find her husband and relax a little bit. No, but seriously, this is serious. And also, I've seen Zuma. Zuma looks a little bit frail, and he looks like maybe his memory's gone. So a lot of people may try to take advantage of him and his daughter. So we need to keep a close eye on Zuma. But I think he's doing the right thing by not entertaining his daughter's nonsense. I
Sure.
don't think he'll kick her out of the party, but this is not her party. And we have to go back to this thing. ANC is much more
family
organized.
politics.
Yeah. ANC is much more organized, and the DA, Democratic Alliance, they're organized. You can't do this type of rubbish. And these new parties like EFF and MK Party, they need to be more professional, and they keep changing their MPs, changing their speakers. They have problems with what's his name, Shivambu. So they don't
Shivambu.
look professional, and if they're not careful, they're going to not do well in the next elections. What are your thoughts, Mr. Warif? I think you're echoing a little bit, Mr. Warif.
I think it's not on anymore.
Oh, what are your thoughts,
I think
Mr. Said?
yeah, I on this matter, I think the MK party is not going to like take it lightly with her because they know that expectation is high. Right now, MK party is rapidly the third largest party in South Africa right now, and they are growing. So they wouldn't want this woman to be the problem of not
No.
people not trusting the anymore. And from what I read and from the little research I've done on that, I think they are currently trying to address the internal issues that she's bringing, and they are almost trying to make sure that is either she's kicked out, but I doubt if that's going to happen because we all know how African politics works. If you are connected with power, you are there already. So I think probably they will give her a soft landing, but I think they are trying to correct her
Yeah, take
issues
away
with
her power. She doesn't
yeah,
need that much power.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it is what it is. As African politics is played, we all know a president's son or president daughter is almost like untouchable. Even in Nigeria, it plays out that way.
But it doesn't hold that
So
way in South Africa because South Africa has a very strong constitution, and the South Africans, if you do that, the voters won't stand for it. If you look at ANC and then the white party, DA, they're very well organized. You see what I'm saying, Afolabi? Like
Yes,
Ramaphosa's children aren't involved in the ANC. You can't just come in the ANC because you're somebody's child. The ANC
sure,
has been around since 1950s, even before apartheid was over. So
sure.
they're very disciplined. So if they have this infighting,
that is what we're trying to address. It. Yeah, it depends on the outcome. The outcome will determine if MK party should be taken seriously or not. That is
oh
why
no, but they should
the
be
whole
taken
thing
seriously
now
because
they are just
they came second in the no they came third in the major elections last year. They did very well. But what
Yeah,
I'm saying is
sure.
that if
They
they
did
become
very, very well.
disorganized, if they become and you have to remember that even though it's his daughter, the politics in South Africa, there's many people who hold power. So Zuma also needs many of those MPs to help him to shield him from his own corruption. So it's like a Game of Thrones. It's a strategy. If he messes up, the majority of those people within their constitution, they can even force him out. Because South Africa has constitutions. You can't the way their constitution is written. Once you have your bylaws for your charter, those people can kick him out, and there's nothing he can do. So that's why he's being careful because if not, he would just let his daughter do whatever. And his daughter doesn't have a background in politics. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is that just let her chop money instead of giving her power. Just let her give money. But I think she wants power also. Which same thing. Remember when
yeah.
Winnie Mandela she tried to use because she's Mandela's husband. They dealt with her. You see what I'm saying? If they can deal with Mandela's husband, why can't they
Yeah.
deal with Zuma's daughter? What do you think, Falabi? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has to call his daughter to order secretly, give her
Mhm.
money, and tell her to put her nose out of political issues. His
Mhm.
response to this crisis will reveal whether MK party functions under democratic discipline or personal influence. I think he has been put on the spotlight here. He has to remain neutral and he has to show strong and decisive leadership. Otherwise, voters seeking a reliable alternative to the ANC may begin to view the MK party as disorganized or
Yeah.
immature, especially if internal conflicts continue to dominate the headlines. So I think
Well,
he's at crossroads. He needs to remain strong and decisive.
and even Zuma, the reason Zuma can't sit in parliament is because of his corruption trials. So Zuma is
Sure,
the president of the party, but he can't
sure.
sit in parliament, which
He
means
can. He can.
and
Because
it's
of
because of his
scandals
corruption charge. So if his daughter continues with this, they'll use those corruption things to even make
against
him
him.
weaker.
Sure.
So he has to be very careful. Okay, so let's move on to